a pint of Landlord. It's a classic pale ale from Timothy Taylor. Very, very tasty.
Sounds very good. Yeah, we'll have a couple of those. Thank you very much. After the show, obviously, and just walking
Of course.
home. Today's confession comes from Nigel. Nigel says, "Dear Monsignor Mayo and the team, after many years in hiding, I am now forced to seek absolution for crimes against the teaching fraternity. My tale of sin reaches back over half a century to the time when I was let loose on an unsuspecting boys' grammar school in a town which was then and is now also sniffy, too sniffy for its own good. St. Custard's had been attended
there it is.
largely by the sort of boy who would have gone to a proper, i.e. public school, had Pater's shares not taken a nosedive at the wrong time. It was, in effect, an O-level sausage-making machine. But by the late 1960s, they realised that some concessions had to be made to the arrival of the 19th century and started admitting a few of the less dim roughnecks, such as myself. We happy few, more akin to meat pies than sausages, almost overnight brought about a quiet revolution at St. Custard's, whereby instead of lightly torturing younger boys, we, rather like madness in baggy trousers, chose to try to make a difference to the days by wanton, willful, though slightly weedy, acts of sabotage and disruption to the school routine. Our form room, which is room 12, was arranged thusly. Okay, so I reckon Nigel's probably an engineer or something. Blackboard on the front wall with entrance door to the front of the right-hand wall, a line of tall sash windows down the left-hand wall, and teacher's desk on the left-hand wall near the corner with the front wall. Picture that?
Yeah.
Just about. Running front to back down both walls, a row of 5 pairs of lift-top desks, each with a separate wooden chair, with a row of 6 pairs in the middle, leaving a gap between each of the 3 paired rows, this being the accommodation for 32 inmates.
Okay. Got it all.
The radio equivalent of like an online drawing
Yes.
with a pencil and a ruler.
Yeah.
Wow.
To avoid the need for too many teachers to be torn away from their 3 nuns ready-rubbed pipe tobacco by supervision duties, indoors, excepting the lavatories, was out of bounds during the 1 hour, 20 minutes of dinner break, unless he was absolutely chucking it down. Naturally, we felt it our bounden duty to seriously bend this rule. I'd always had a fascination with domino runs, Father Simon. I was in room 12 chatting with a group of mates and idly balancing a classroom chair on its front legs. When I let go, it fell backwards, hitting the desk behind it with a loud bang. A light bulb went on in my head. What if that desk had another chair behind it, leaning against it, balancing precariously on its front legs? And then, if the desk behind that and so on, you've got that dominoes picture.
Yeah.
I knew that the organisation of 32 desks and chairs with such precision would take me more than a dinner break to do, so I enlisted the help of 3 or 4 other like-minded souls. Working in as near to silence as a group of boys in their early teens can manage, we separated the pairs of desks, giving us 6 rows with narrow gaps between. Then placed all the desks at precisely the right distance from each other and all the chairs exactly at the tipping point. The desks at the end of the rows were aligned so that we had a single snaking line of 32. And now the nasty bit kicked in. I hadn't mentioned so far that the front desk on the row next to the right-hand wall was positioned so that it would be hit by the door to room 12 if the door were to be opened. Having completed arrangements, we all clambered onto the teacher's desk and opened an adjacent sash window. We then proceeded to make the sort of racket that you'd expect as we exited. This perhaps called for more judgment than any other phase of the operation. We had to carry on long enough to attract attention from the nearby staff room while giving ourselves the chance to flee the scene of the crime. As it was, we timed it to perfection, the last of the team leaping into the free air just as the doorknob was turned. As the window sills were rather high up the outside wall, and as we were sheltering behind a nearby hedge, we couldn't see what happened next. But through the open window we could gleefully hear the following. What's all this? Bang, 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 bang.
Yeah.
Bang, 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 bang. A full glorious salute of 32 chairs going off like a cannon. Or cannons, I can't really seek forgiveness, Father Sam, as I don't know which teacher or teachers got the benefit of our efforts. I can only hope it was one of the nasty ones, who even the other teachers hated, though I didn't know this at the time until I was in the pub with them a few years later on.
Okay.
I mean, to be honest, there are always some teachers that you can tell that the other teachers don't like at all.
Yeah.
Nice fade.
Nice fade. I
Best
thought.
of the week,
Yeah,
I'd
yeah.
say. Best of the week.
Yes.
People wait for that moment.
They do.
So it's another St. Custard's tale from Nigel. I mean, you have to admire the precision engineering that went on, but what do you say, Sister Susie?
Well, I do like being back at St. Custard's, and like you say, Nigel, there was a lot of work and effort that went into that. However, I feel like putting a lot of work and effort into that meant that maybe you should have been doing something better in school and maybe concentrating on that. And also, maybe someone could have got hurt. I don't know. So for that reason, I'm not going to forgive.
Okay. I do like the idea of the fact that you can't tear the teachers away from their three nuns ready rubber pipe.
Yeah.
Little period piece there. What do you,
Yes.
brother from another guy?
I agree with Suze that maybe the school should have been a little bit more stimulating if they were reduced to having to do dominoes with the chairs. That's what I get the sense of. And also, what a great engineering feat this was by Nigel and his classmates. So I don't think there's anything to forgive here. In fact, I would argue that the teacher will have watched in awe as all of these chairs fell over each other. So yes, I'm definitely going to forgive.
I'm not sure. Do you think you'd get on with Nigel?
I think I probably would, actually.
Okay.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah.